Hello everyone, today let's solve the problem shooting gallery, right? So this was asked in the Codeforces beta round 30, Codeforces format basically, right? So this is fine. So I'll just go through, you can just go through the question. I'll just summarize the question so that it will be easier for us to solve the problem. Let's see what the question states here. Just give me a second, 1 second. Yep. We have n instantaneous targets, right? So just remember, we have n instantaneous targets at the position x comma y. Just try to remember this, right? So we have n instantaneous targets at the positions x comma y appearing at the times t, right? Appearing at the times t with hit probability p, with hit probability p, right? So this is fine. The site moves on the plane at speed 1. The site moves on the plane, this one, the site moves on the plane at the speed 1, right, and can start aimed at any point at time 0, and it can start aimed at any point at the time 0, right? So this is important. Now what we need to do, we have to choose an order of aiming to maximize the expected number of hits, right? Expected number of hits. So we have to output the maximum expected value, right? So we have to output the maximum expected value. I'll just write here AV, right? So this is fine. This is the question mainly, right? Simple to understand. So we have n instantaneous targets at the position x comma y appearing at the times t with hit probability p, right? So the site moves on the plane at the speed 1. The site moves on the plane at the speed 1 and can start aimed at any point at time 0. This is fine. Now we have to choose an order of aiming to maximize the expected number of hits. What we need to do, we have to choose an order of aiming to maximize the expected number of hits, right? So we have to output the maximum expected value. So we have to output the maximum expected value. So this is the question, man. So this is fine. Now let's come to the input here. So we have 1 and we have been given 0, 0, 0, 0.5, and the maximum expected value here is 0.5, right? So you can observe one thing here, we have 10 decimal places, that also we have to keep in mind, along with the 5, right? So 5 followed by the 9 zeros we have, right? So this is fine, I believe. So this is it for the input, output, and the question basically, right? So let's do one thing. As we are completely familiar with the question, let's discuss the approach followed by the complexities, and then let's write the code, right? So first, as usual, let's discuss the approach. So I have considered here the first example that they have given in the question. See here, 1 followed by 3 zeros here and the 0.5, and the output that we need to get here is 0.5. The maximum expected value that we need to get here is 0.5, right? So one thing I want to tell you here is we'll be making use of the dynamic programming to solve this particular problem, right? So just keep this in mind. Let's move the next step here. So nothing but here step-by-step explanation, right? So first, with one target, so we have been given target 1, right, followed by 0, 0, 0, and then 0.5. So this is what they have given. Yep. With one target at 0, 0 at time 0 and p equals, we have been given 0.5, right? So with one target at 0, 0 at time 0, this is nothing but one target at 0, 0, this is nothing but the time 0, and this is nothing but p, right? So this is p 0.5. We can start aimed at any point at the time 0. They have given in the question itself that we can start aimed at any point at the time 0, right? So first we will be choosing this one, 0, 0, this part, 0, 0, first two zeros, right? At time 0, the target appears and we are already aimed expected, right? So at time 0, the target appears and we are already aimed this one, expected, already aimed basically. So this one will be expected hits will be, as we are already aimed, expected hits will be equivalent to the p equals 0.5, right? So p equals 0.5, right? So that we have been already given this one, right? So 0.5. Just give me a second, 1 second. What happened to this one? Yeah, p equals 0.5 basically. So just keep this in mind, man. Right? So this is fine. So answer that we got here is zero point 0.5, this one 5 followed by the 9 zeros. So the final answer that we got here is this one, right? So this one itself, so answer itself is 0.5 basically, right? So this one we have to display in the 10 decimal places, just remember this one, right? So 5 followed by 9 zeros, this is fine. So the output that we got here is 0.5, this one followed by 9 zeros, this is fine. And the expected value is yeah, expected output is also same basically. So the output that we got here is same, which is equivalent to the output that they have mentioned for the example 1 within the question. So our approach works absolutely correct here. So let's discuss the idea before hopping into the complexities part, right? So what is the idea basically? So we will be sorting the targets by time, right? So just remember this one, we'll be going with the sorting as well. So we will be sorting the targets by the time. Based on the time we'll be sorting the targets. So dp of I equals here maximum expected hits when you shoot target I at its time, right? So therefore final answer will be equivalent to the maximum dp of I. So this one you'll get to know when we write the code, right? So this is the basic idea. So how we'll be making use of the dp, right, and the sorting. So we'll be going with a dp along with the sorting here. So this is the main idea, right? So you'll be getting this one when we write the code. We don't have to worry, just remember this one, right? So we'll be sorting the targets by time basically. This is one important thing to remember. Also dp of I is equivalent to the maximum expected hits when we shoot the target I at its time. So final answer will be quite obviously equivalent to the max of dp of I, right? So max of dp of I, this is fine I believe. Now as we are completely familiar with the approach, let's do one thing. Let's quickly hop into the complexities part, right? So what will be the time complexity here? The time complexity would be equivalent to the big of n square. And what will be the space complexity? The space complexity would be equivalent to the big of n, right? So the time complexity and the space complexity for the code we'll be writing in the future would be big of n square and the big of n respectively, right? So as we are completely familiar with the before this one hopping into writing the code. So why the time complexity here would be big of n square? We didn't discuss this one at all, right? So time complexity is big of n square in the worst case, and as I've said in the approach that we'll be going with the sorting basically, right? Sorting takes here big of n log n, right? But so we will be making use of the nested dp loops that are basically big of n square, which dominates for n less than or equal to 1000 basically, right? So overall time complexity would be big of n square. So this is the reason. So what will be the space complexity? The space complexity would lead to big of n for sorting the targets and the dp array, right? Sorry, not sorting the targets, for storing the targets and the dp array, right? So we'll be going with the dp. Quite obviously we will be making use of the dp array, right? Also we have to store the target somewhere. For that is the reason space complexity would lead to big of n for storing the targets and the dp array, right? So this is fine I believe. So now as we are completely familiar with the complexities and the approach, we are good to write the code. Let's start writing the code. I'll just come to the compiler here. So first what we'll be doing, I'll be making use of this one, what do we call, we'll be making use of the fast input and the output. So let's import this one, input output package basically, right? So this is fine. Now we'll be making use of different utilities as well. Let's import utility package as well, right? So this is fine. Now let's do one thing, let's quickly make use of the class here. So I'll just go with main as usual. So I can just give any class name that's relevant to the question basically, right? First let's go with the helper class just to store one target's data, right? So I'll just go with helper class named target here, right? So target will be suitable name, so I'll just give target here, right? So we are going with the helper class to store one target's data, sorry, not the data. So this is fine. Now we have to go with the integer coordinates of the target, nothing but, so we'll be going with the x and y, right? So this is fine I believe. So the next step would be, so we have to go with the time of appearance as well. So we'll be making use of the long because ti can be up to 10 to the power of 9. They have strictly mentioned in the constraints, right? So I just go with long t, right? So the next part would be, so we have to hit the probability, nothing but in this case I'll just be going with double p is nothing but the probability. So this is important thing. So let's go with the constructor, right? So y constructor, we have to initialize the target, right? So for that reason we'll be going with the constructor part. So this will be target, the parameters will be x, y, also we have made use of the t and p, right? So long t and double p, right? So this is fine, man. Now let's do one thing. We have to store the field somewhere, so this one will be this dot x equals x, this is fine, and this dot y equals y, this is also fine. The next step would be this dot t equals t, and finally this dot p equals p. Yep, we are done with this part, man. Right, so let me go out of this one entirely. Yep, now let's move on with the main method. So I'll just give here main. So let me delete this one. So here I'll just give throws exception. So I'll just go with throws exception, this is fine. So within the main method, the first thing is, let me go with the buffered reader and the print writer. So I'll just go with buffered reader. So this one br equals new buffered reader, new input stream reader of system dot. So this is fine. Also let me go with a print writer for the output. So I'll just give here out, the variable name I'll consider out. So this one will be new print writer, new, instead of buffered reader, so this will be buffered writer, right? So this one will be new output stream writer of this one, what do we call, system dot out basically. So this is direct to the output, standard output. So this is fine. Now so we have to read n, nothing but the number of targets, right? So first we have been given number of targets itself here, nothing but we have one for the first example, right? So we have to read that. So I'll just initialize n2. So this is of the type integer, right? So this will be integer dot %, of this one will be buffered reader dot read line. So this is fine, man. So the next step would be we have to go with the array to store or to hold all the targets, right? So I'll just go with here target. So this one, I have to mention this one in the array, right? So this one will be new target of this one n, this is fine. So the next step would be, let's go with the iteration part. So we have to read each target line. So let me make use of the for loop here. This one int I equals 0, I less than n we have considered, right? I plus plus. So this is fine. So within the for loop we have to split the input line by spaces into the token. So I'll just go with string here. So this one will be I'll just consider the variable name s here. This one buffered reader dot read line, this is fine. We are making use of the split here, right? So this is fine, man. We have the gap between the numbers, right? So that for that reason we are making use of the split, just to split the input line by spaces into the tokens, right? So this is fine, I believe. The next step would be, we have to parse x coordinate, right? So this one will be int x equals integer dot %. So this is fine. This one will be s of 0, nothing but we are just passing the x coordinate, right? So this is fine. Now let's we have to pass the y coordinate as well, right? So this one will be int y equals integer dot %. So this is fine. So this one will be s of 1, right? So this one will be pass coordinate. Also let me go with long t equals long, this one I'll just go with parse long this one s of 2. This is fine. We are just passing the time t as long. The next part would be so we have to pass the probability p as double. So I'll just go with the double here. So this one p equals, let me go with double dot, so this one will be pass, I'll just go with a double here, pass double of let me go with s of 3 here. This is fine. So we are just passing the probability p as double here. This is fine. Finally we have to create the target object and we have to store that one in the array. Nothing but iterated value of the a, or a of I equals new target of this one x comma y comma t comma p. So this is fine, I believe, man. Finally let me come out of this one entirely. So we have to sort the targets by the time ascending, right? So as I've said, we'll be going with the sorting. So we also discussed that we'll be sorting the targets by the time ascending. So I'll just go with the arrays dot sort here. So this one will be a comma, so let's make use of the comparator here. Comparator, right? So this is sorry, comparator, and also let me go with comparing long, we have to go with, right? So this one has to be comparing long of, let's consider O here, lambda, so this one will be O dot T. This is fine, I believe, right? So we just we have successfully sorted the targets by ascending, right? Time ascending basically. Now let's initialize the DP array. So I'll just go with double here, so this is fine. DP equals new double of, let me pass in here, right? So also we have to keep the global maximum expected value, right? In simple terms, we are going with the result variable. So I'll just consider answer here ans. So let me initialize this one to the 0. So now we are left with certain things. Now we have to compute the DP for each target in the time order. So let me go with the for loop here. This one will be int I equals 0, I less than n, and let me go with I plus plus. So within this for loop, so let's go with the base case. We can choose to start aimed at this particular time, at time equals 0, right? So at least we can go with a pi, right? So this one has to be dp of I can just assign this one to the a of I dot p as per this one, as per the discussion that we discussed, right? So this is fine. So the next part would be, let's go with one more iteration, nothing but one more for loop. So we have to try to come to the target I from any previous target j. So this is accordingly with the approach. So this one will be int j equals 0, j less than I, so this one will be j plus plus. So within this for loop, so let me go with double again. So this one will be d equals math dot, so this one let me make use of this one hypoth, right? So this is nothing but here we are going with a Euclidean distance between j and I, right? Again we are going with a Euclidean distance between j and I, so we are going with a math dot hypothesis, right? So here hypoth, this one I'll just go with a of I, this is fine, dot x, basically this one minus a of j, this is nothing but the Euclidean distance, right? Again dot x here we have to make use of, and sorry, dot x, this is fine. Yep, did I come out of the parenthesis? Sorry, this one has to be a of I dot y, this is 5 minus a of j dot y, so this is also fine, man. So we are just going with a Euclidean distance between j and I, so this is fine. Now what we need to do, so let's write the simple if condition. If condition in the sense, if reachable in time, then we have to update the dp, right? So let me go with if here, so this one will be d less than or equal to a of I, so this is fine, dot t, this one minus a of j dot t, so this is also fine, minus a of j dot t, a of j. So this, let me close it here. So this is fine. So now let me assign the dp of I2. So we have to go with the max value. So let me make use of the math.max here. So again dp of I, comma, so this one will be dp of j plus a of I dot p. So we are done with this part, right? So finally we have to update the global answer, right? So let me come out of this one entirely. So this one, let me assign the answer to math.max of answer, comma, dp of I, right? So this is fine. So let me come out of this one entirely. So now we have to print the answer with the 10 decimal places, right? So I had stressed this one multiple times. So I'll just go with out.println. So as we need to print the answer with the 10 decimal places, so let me go with here modulo symbol this one dot 10f, right, slash n, right? So this is fine. Also let the result is stored in the answer variable, right? So answer we have to display quite obviously, right? So finally we have to flush the output to ensure it is return. So either I can just go with out.flush or out.close. I'll just go with flush itself, right? So this is it for the code, basically simple one, right? So yeah, this is it for the code. So before hopping into this one, before checking the code with different inputs or the examples, let me copy paste the signature starter template. Just give me a, so let me paste this one over here. So let me come to this question part. So let me copy this one. The output that we need to get is 0.5, right? So I'll just run this one. We have error, man. What the heck? No suitable method found for the println. Oh, we don't have to go with the println, right? So we just can go with the printf here. We are not printing in the next line, so we are just printing in the same line, right? So we have to go with the, we can just go with the printf basically. Let me run this one again. Now yeah, we are getting the correct output basically, right? So 10 decimal places we have opted for as asked on the question. See here, dot 10f we have made use of here along with the answer, right? So we are getting the correct output, right? So this is fine. So next let me copy this one. The output that we need to get here is 1.3 followed by the 9 zeros, right? So this is fine. Let's check the same thing. Hope this works, man. Yeah, this works correctly, right? So let me do one thing. Let me copy the entire code. Let me come here, let me hit the submit button, and finally let me paste the code and let me hit the submit button. So let's wait for some time, man. So you can clearly see here on the toast it is showing accepted, right? So the verdict that we got here is accepted. So the verdict that we got here is accepted. So whatever the code that we have written works absolutely correct for all the test cases, right? So this is fine, I believe. Whatever the code that we have written works absolutely correct for all the test cases, right? So this is fine. I hope again the solution part is completely clear along with the approach and the complexities. So we have made use of the pure DPMN to solve this particular problem, right? So just give me a second. Why this is not opening? We have made use of the actually pure DP to solve this problem along with the this one sorting basically, right? As we are making use of the nested loops, see here one loop within the other, right? So this would lead to big of n square time complexity as we had discussed. So this one is nothing but the DP along with the sorting. Basically sorting will be the dominant factor most of the times, but here in this case we are going with the n square, not n log n basically, right? So still this passes because n has to be less than or equal to 1000 accordingly with the constraints, right? So this is fine, man. This works correct. This works obviously correct. This is fine. I hope the solution part is completely clear. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.